Welcome to Soul Synergy Network, a space for truth, soul, and wholeness. I'm your host, Dr. Irma Elisheva Diaz. Today, we're learning leaning into a subject that's pressing on the hearts of so many: anxiety. Not just the personal kind that whispers in the night or tightens your chest before a hard conversation, but the kind that builds silently, day by day, as the world around us grows louder, harsher, more uncertain. If you're carrying the weight of too much right now, you're not alone. There's a climate that exists right now that impacts our minds, global and local stressors. So let's be honest. It's not just your inbox or your family schedule that's overwhelming you. We're living in a time when there is global conflict, which fills our news feeds before we even take our first sip of coffee in the morning. There's economic uncertainty that makes it hard to feel stable, no matter how hard we work. There's climate concerns that simmer beneath the surface of every conversation about the future. And then there's social division that makes relationships feel fragile and truth feel subjective. Then there's technology and social media. That's like an overload on our minds with stimulation, comparison, and constant alerts. These things stack, and then they stack again, until one day we find ourselves snapping at our loved ones, waking up with a racing heart or feeling like we can't breathe in a quiet room. This is anxiety. But it's not a defect, it's a signal. So what's really going on with us? First, your body is wired for survival. When the world feels unsafe, physically, socially, emotionally, your nervous system kicks into high alert. Our heart rate increases, our muscles tense, our thoughts scatter or loop in worry. We feel unsafe, even when we are technically not in danger. This is our body doing its job. But when that emergency mode never turns off, it becomes chronic. And chronic anxiety isn't just a mental issue. It's a whole body, whole soul experience. Now let's, for a second, pull these layers down from the clouds. Global unrest isn't the only cause. Sometimes it's the unspoken grief we carry, the pressure to hold everyone else together. Sometimes it's financial stress. Sometimes a traumatic memory triggered by a smell, a word, a moment comes into play. Or feeling like the world is spinning too fast and you're losing yourself in the blur. Sometimes it's just too much, and we don't know why. So let's look at when anxiety becomes unhealthy or bad. Anxiety becomes unhealthy when it's chronic. When you feel anxious every day or most of the day, and it's hard to relax even during quiet moments. Anxiety is unhealthy when it interferes with your daily life, when you can't sleep, eat, focus at work, or enjoy time with loved ones because the worry won't stop. It's unhealthy when it's disproportionate. The level of anxiety doesn't match the situation. So you sometimes you know that that's happening. It's like I'm worrying too much and it doesn't fit how much I'm worried. Maybe there's panic over minor inconveniences and you find yourself responding like, just off the chart. It's unhealthy when it causes avoidance, when you start withdrawing from people, places, or responsibilities just to avoid the discomfort. How about when it hijacks your thoughts? Constant, intrusive thoughts, or imagining the worst case scenarios for every situation and it takes over your mind. You're always thinking about it, always thinking about it. And then your body starts to suffer when there's chronic anxiety, tension, headaches, digestive issues, fatigue, chronic pain, and it becomes regular. That's when there's chronic anxiety. When it leads to emotional numbing, you stop feeling joy. You stop feeling motivated. You stop feeling connected. You become emotionally shut down. Anxiety is unhealthy when it triggers self-doubt and shame. You constantly feel like a failure. You fear judgment, or you feel like something is wrong with you. Or when it spirals into panic, sudden physical symptoms like your chest, I mentioned this in the beginning, getting tight, your heart races, or you have difficulty breathing, even without clear reason for it. These are all signs of chronic anxiety when it starts to happen, constantly or frequently, better said. When it silences your intuition, you can't distinguish between instinct and fear anymore. Those are things that are very, very real. Anxiety, actually, if I could give you an example, sometimes anxiety is a feeling that we need. For example, it's a telltale sign. It's like an antenna. So I often use it along with fear. So, we have these emotions as human beings. We can't hide these emotions. We can't shove them down. They're there. So if you're in a dark alley at night and you feel anxiety, that's healthy anxiety. You need to feel that. It's important to have that. That's part of your antenna. But when it becomes chronic and it starts impacting every part of your life, something's wrong and it has to be addressed. So many times we often feel ashamed of our anxiety, like it's a failure instead of what it truly could be. It could be a call to listen, as I just explained. We forget to ask ourselves what anxiety is trying to say to us. Trust me, it's trying to say something. So here's some food for thought. What if anxiety wasn't the enemy? What if we look at it like a messenger? What if anxiety is not only a malfunction, but a map, one that leads you back to presence, to boundaries, to compassion, to stillness, to thinking things through in a balanced manner? What if anxiety isn't the enemy? What if we could look at it like a messenger? As long as it doesn't impact us, if you start to look at it like a messenger, you catch it before it becomes chronic. Or you have the ability to. What if in today's chaotic world, anxiety is trying to whisper truths we've been too busy to hear? Maybe it's trying to tell you you're overloaded in life, or you need rest, or you're out of alignment, or you're not meant to carry all that you're carrying alone. And what if anxiety is also saying, take care of yourself before your body forces you to? That's an important one, before your body forces you to, because trust me, we can get to a place where our body is now forcing us to take care of ourselves. We don't want to get to that place. Take care of your family, not just through provision, but through presence. Use wisdom, not urgency, to make decisions. And take time to slow down. Think about it. We're moving too fast. And sometimes too fast to hear our own soul. The fact is, we're not failing, we're just tired. Let go of what's not yours to fix. That's an important one. They're all important, but let go of what's not, if you can't fix something and it's not yours to fix, don't hold on to it. Don't become anxious over it. It's out of your hands. Learn to prioritize not just your tasks, but values, what you believe about life, your principles, your faith. turn off the noise and return to what is real. And let us learn to savor life. Not just survive life, but savor it. Enjoy it. Sometimes I wake up Monday morning and all of a sudden Friday, I can't believe it's Friday again. It just went by so fast because I was so busy. I didn't get to savor the days the way I would like to savor the days. If we keep doing that, before we know it, our life is we're on the last chapter of our life and we're thinking about all the times we didn't savor life. Be present, because every moment is sacred. Say no more often. Say yes to your peace. What you consumed digitally, emotionally, and spiritually, it's completely shaping what you become. Think about social media. Think about all the things we're reading, all the things we're hearing all the time. The fact is, we don't need to know everything. We just need to know some things that are going on in the world. We don't need to know every little thing and, every little murder that takes place. It's stressful. We need to feel it. We need to feel what's happening to the human race, what's happening globally, but not to the extent where it's unhealthy for us. So maybe if we could just look at it this way, anxiety isn't a flaw. If we turn it into a flag, we could turn it into a flag where it's a signal, where it's telling us, hey, pay attention to what this is saying to you. You need to do this with your life. You need to rest more. You need to see your family more. You need to, all these different things that you can come up with that turns it into a flag. A gentle, desperate wave from your soul that says, I'm still in here. Come and find me. Come into alignment with all of who you are and all of what surrounds you that's yours. We have to learn to find stillness in the storm, because you know what? There's a lot of storms out there. A lot happening right now in the world. Talking about our soul practice. We don't want Band-Aids. We don't want toxic positivity. There's people that always want to say something positive, but the reality is it's not positive, right? So you want to be a positive person, but you don't want to walk around in denial. So we need to learn to name what's true. Say it loud. I feel anxious. There's a flag there. I feel overwhelmed. There's a flag there. I'm afraid. There's a flag there. There's nothing shameful about naming truth. Truth is the beginning of healing. If we could just grasp that and hold on to that, we'd be healed so much quicker, And we need to learn to unplug to replug. What do I mean by that? Shut off the noise, the news, the scrolling, the endless checking. Give your nervous system space to regulate. Maybe it's 5 minutes, maybe it's an hour, but practice turning the volume down on everything external. Once in a while, at least. Stillness is not empty, it's spacious. And in that space, clarity comes. So we have to learn to create anchors in the day. These are rituals. People sometimes don't like that word, but let's call them routines. They restore rhythm in our life. Some people light a candle in the morning and say a word of peace. Some people wake up in the morning. I wake up in the morning, and while I'm still in bed, I'm praying. That's the first thing I do because I'm a person of faith. Right away, I start praying for the people I love. I start praying for the day. I start praying, and even when there's things to do, I'm laying in the dark praying. Take time to do things like that. Step outside and touch the earth. And do it barefoot if possible. Ground yourself. Sit with your hand on your chest and whisper, I'm here. And I'm enough. I can do this today, and I'm going to do it, right? These small acts of grounding remind your nervous system that you're not adrift. And so sometimes when anxiety comes to visit, if you look at it as a flag, these things kick in before it gets chronic, before it gets bad. Speak gently to yourself. When anxiety starts to come, what's your inner tone? Do you criticize yourself? Do you criticize what's around you? Do you panic? Are you shamed because of what you're feeling? Change it up. Change the voice. Change what you're saying. Be kind to yourself and be kind to the situation. You can talk to yourself. You can say, this will pass. You can say, you've made it through before. You'll make it through again. You can say, I'm going to breathe. I'm going to breathe in and inhale and hold it and release it. Release all that I'm carrying. We must allow ourselves to feel. Let the wave come and go. Fighting anxiety often intensifies it. Look at it like a flag. Let yourself feel it. But don't build a camp there. Let it move through you like the weather moves. You're not the storm. You're the sky it passes through. If you are a person of faith, I bring it up again. Pray, use your heart, and step out. Call on your Maker to help you. He will. Meditate. If you're living in this world and feeling anxious, you're not broken. You're awake. There's no choice but to feel it. And while that awareness can be painful, it is also sacred. It means you care. It means you feel. You're not dead. You're alive. And you see what matters. So I want you to remember, before we close today, you don't have to fix everything. You don't have to carry it all. You don't even have to understand your anxiety fully. None of us do. You only have to listen to what it needs from you today. It's a flag. Be soft with your inner world. Protect your peace like sacred ground. And trust this. The same body that trembles can also dance. And it does. The same voice that stammers in fear can speak truth, affirmations, and it should. The same heart that races can also rest. You're not alone in your anxiety. You're not powerless in this storm. And you're not without hope. Share this podcast with somebody that you know has been anxious. Remember, anxiety is a flag. And if we look at it like a flag, it will not fester and it will not become chronic. This is for you. This is Soul Synergy Network. Subscribe. Stay in touch. Listen to other podcasts. And until next time, be well, be steady, and be whole. God bless you.